Tiny claws on the tabletop, steel glint in his hungry eyes. Little king of the parking lot, dragging home another prize. Tactical tail twitching fast, he's got clips on every branch. If it flips, if it locks, if it lasts, he's the rodent of the EDC clan. Hey! He's the EDC Squirrel, stashing the bark. Blade in the daylight, blade in the dark. From the curb to the cul-de-sac ruts, sharpen your wits and protect your nuts. Protect your nuts. Protect your nuts. Tiny terror in the tree line cuts. He'll drop from a power line, show you what's right in his hip. Thumb, stud, flip out front, flick spine. He lives for that perfect click. Spreading word to the backyard crew. Check this edge, feel that grind. Every acorn, every review, carved with a steel-toothed mind. Whoa! He's the EDC Squirrel, stashing the bark. Blade in the daylight, blade in the dark. From the curb to the cul-de-sac ruts, sharpen your wits and protect your nuts. Protect your nuts. Protect your nuts. Tiny terror in the tree line cuts. Climb high, tree line thrown in the storm. Cold bite, metal heart staying warm. If you mess with his tribe or his hut, you'll hear one battle cry roar from the brush. Hey! 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 Protect your Protect your Protect your nuts. Hey! Protect your nuts. He's the EDC Squirrel, stashing the bark. Blade in the daylight, blade in the dark. From the mail call crate to the gutter front ruts, sharpen your wits and protect your nuts. Protect your nuts. Protect your nuts. Little legend with the pocket cut guts.
Okay, making sure this is working all right. Happy 4th of July, everybody. It is Saturday, 4th of July, 2026, and we've got another Saturday Knife Chat with the EDC Squirrel. Hope everybody's doing well, has a great 4th of July weekend, and I know a lot of people are probably busy. I figured I'd go ahead and still stream anyway, and for those joining me, welcome. Thank you so much. And tonight or today, probably not going to be a long one. I've got a few new knives, and I'm going to concentrate primarily on customizing a case axe handle, like I had previously mentioned before. And I'll continue to chat throughout because it is it's a long process, but probably will end up cutting it short because it is a holiday and there's stuff I would like to enjoy and relax too. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get rid of this screen real quick. And yeah, I got 4th of July-ish colors, kind of, sort of, getting close there. This closest thing I had. It looks a little bit more orange than red on the screen. I just noticed that. Hey, Terry. Hey, Morgan. Glad you guys could make it. So, first of all, like I always do, let me move some stuff here real quick off screen because I've got a bunch of stuff all over my table and desk, and I was madly trying to multitask and get a bunch of stuff done all at the same time. So, been a busy morning for me, and let's start off like I always do. What were you guys carrying in your pocket? You thought I'd be skipping today? I'm just doing a short one because I've mentioned several times that I was going to toast a knife. So that's why I figured I'd just go ahead and do it. Excuse me. And like I said, it's not gonna be a very long one today. I'm gonna toast a knife and chat while I'm doing that, and then that's pretty much it. I'll show a few knives also as well. But what do you guys have in your pocket? What were you carrying with you today if you were out and about? I actually was carrying this. Give me a second here. This was in my pocket today. My Remet woodpecker. Just an amazingly beautiful knife. Love this knife just because it's so clean and it's just really pretty. Very pretty knife. One of my favorite ones from Remet. And then that one that I just did last week where I toasted a green gator jig. We're doing another green gator jig. I've enjoyed the look of these green gator jigs when I've been toasting them. So we're doing another one. We're doing an axe handle today. But that's what I was carrying in my pocket. And give me a second here. So let me know in the comments what you guys were carrying. Mike dropped. How you doing? How are things with you? I've been like multitasking all day, so there's a lot of stuff I'm trying to get done. I've been revamping stuff for my video game channel. I'm planning on revamping stuff for this channel, even though things are going to be a little slow on the purchasing because of a lot of things that have been going on. But it's still planning on revamping stuff hopefully soon. And so yeah, it's been busy for me these last few days. But those were what were in my pocket today. My Remet woodpecker, like I said, and then the one that I just burned last Saturday, which was the mini trapper, the green gator jig mini trapper. I've just been really enjoying how these green gator jigs have been coming out with that burn. Now I have an original untoasted one in the box, but it's currently buried in the box. But I do have two green gator jig axe handles, so you can kind of see a before and after once I finish with the burn. But as far as new stuff that came in, I am going to go through these kind of quick. You have some reorganizing to do on the channel. Yeah, I've been trying a lot of new things. Been having fun with it, but it has been keeping me kind of busy. Been having a blast doing little videos and doing music and stuff like that. First thing I'm going to show is, now I haven't gotten any real moderns, unless you want to consider this a modern, this last week. I do have a monthly knife club coming in, but I don't expect that to get here until close to the end of the month. What I did get though most recently, I never intended to start collecting these, and then I've been acquiring more and more of them. This was the latest, the Victorinox. This was also a Tinker. I haven't been getting many others other than the Tinker. Now the Tinker is their particular pattern for this knife. So all the ones except one Victorinox that I have is going to be essentially built the same. I have the peanut butter and jelly. I have the donut, which, and again, the same type of Tinker knife, meaning the type of blades and tools that are included in these. And the only other one that I have is another peanut butter and jelly, but it's not a Tinker. It's one of the smaller ones. I think they call it an SD Classic. And almost dropped it. And it's this fella right here. That's the only off one, if you can call it off, that I have, a really tiny SD Classic. But I did pick up another Tinker because I got it a real good deal from Chasing Blades. This one is in their Ruby, and it's a see-through red. It just looked really pretty. And again, I got a real good deal from Chasing Blades on Whatnot. Again, if you're not familiar with Chasing Blades, they are a seller on Whatnot, which is an auction app, and I do a lot of business with them. They are off in Canton, Texas, doing, I think it's like at the world's largest flea market, or not flea. I don't know if it's a flea market or what it is. World's largest open market or something like that. A lot of people there, a lot of people selling goods. They have a setup over there, so they're selling throughout the weekend. So if you happen to be in Canton, Texas, go check it out. I don't know what booth they are, but it's Chasing Blades. They're out there probably selling right now, possibly. And if you see them, go say hi. But yeah, I never really got into collecting these, and suddenly I've been acquiring them because they've been really inexpensive. Even these two, which are limited editions, were no more than like $25 to $30. I think I got this one on $25 on sale. I think I got both these $25 on sale. This one I got for $25 as well. Again, in the ruby, so you can see that it is see-through, which is really kind of neat. And the Tinker version, you have a single large blade, which is roughly about 3 inches. I think I don't know the exact measurement, but roughly about 3 inches. You have a smaller secondary blade right there, and they always come razor sharp. Really good snap on these. And then you have this is a can opener with a small flathead. Then you have a bottle opener with a larger flathead. And I believe that's supposed to be a wire stripper. I don't know. There's a little notch there. I can't recall exactly what that's supposed to be for. And you have on the other side, you have a Phillips screwdriver and a combination punch, reamer, what have you. That visit mat takes away from the knives. Yeah, you know what? I realized it is a little hard. Give me a second. It's a little hard to see. I'm going to get my regular mat back out. Yeah, I was looking at the screen. Yeah, no, you're right. It's taken away a little bit. It's a little hard to see. I was trying to be festive. It didn't work out. Want to know why knives? You like the top left? Yeah, this is what I was carrying in my pocket today. This was my current carry that I had in my pocket. This is a Ramet woodpecker. Just one of my favorite knives from Ramet. Really clean sucker. And then I was carrying my case that I toasted last week. But welcome to the stream. Let me adjust this because the crookedness is going to bug the tar out of me. I know that. There goes my OCD. Okay. Combination, punch, reamer, something. Can't quite remember everything they have. And then you have your typical toothpick and your tweezers as well. So yeah, I never meant to go start collecting these, but I'm really liking these Victorinox Tinkers, and they have so many designs, especially if you go on SMKW. SMKW has so many exclusive designs that they work with and get from Victorinox. There's if you're looking for just a particular look or something, I have no doubt you'll find something on smkw.com. because there's just so many of them out. But that's the newest one that I got this last week was the Tinker, or the Ruby Red Tinker. Now, I only have technically 4 knives, but one of them you've seen before. I did pick up 3 knives from, well, no, technically 3 more knives. But you've seen one before. I can't count. I can't remember if I showed this one last week. I haven't been able to review my last video. You can now make up the patterns on each knife. There you go. It's a little easy. Yeah, no, I didn't realize how busy it was until I looked at the screen. I'll just leave those out so you guys can see those. Peanut butter, you got the donuts and the ruby red. Now, these case knives I also got from Chasing Blades. And these are new for this year. I can't remember if I showed this last week or not, because to be quite honest, I can't remember if I got this last week or the week before. This one is a navy blue bone Rogers jig axe handle. As you can see there, this is probably my new favorite pattern from Case. are these axe handles. And this is a navy blue bone. You see the red badge, also red oval badge. That one was, I believe that was new last week. I can't recall. But the one that I was really excited about, because this one's really hard to get, these things disappear as soon as they go up on a table or, on a display or something. They're gone. People have been paying, like, these things run, depending on the colors and stuff like that, these axe handles generally run roughly between 70 to, I think the most expensive one I've seen is maybe 110, 120. This one I've seen going for 130, 140. Although I believe, what did I get? What did I pay for this one? Like 105, I think. This is also as an axe handle, except this is done in cases 6.5 bone stag. And the thing with 6.5 bone stag, now bone stag was created, 6.5 bone stag was created because there was at one point an embargo on stag, and they had to stop using it to make scales for their knives. So to get around that, they went back to using cow shin bone and then just burning it and texturing it in order to resemble stag, which is where it gets the name 6.5 bone stag. And the thing with that, in order to, another reason why these are unique is to emulate that stag. They're not, the scales are kind of, how do I put this? They're not uniform intentionally. Now you can see here with this Blue Bone Rogers jig, they're kind of even. They're relatively flat. I mean, aside from the jigging, but they're kind of even in terms of measurements. Okay, the thickness of the bone on that scale. Now, 6.5 bone stag, you can see super thick bone on that, done intentionally, kind of uneven to give it a more natural look to stag. Because if you look at actual stag case knives, they tend to be relatively uneven. They keep like I guess it's a way to make them look more natural. But they do the same with the bone stag in order to make it, or in order to make it look more like regular stag. So you can see how thick in comparison this bone is. And I really love how they come out. And it gives it a really good handle as well. I mean, it fills the hand a little bit more in a lot of cases, but I just really like the look, especially with this nice dark toast on this one. I think this one came out really, really awesome. And again, being an axe handle, just my new favorite pattern from Case this year. Love this thing. That is absolutely gorgeous to me. But I've really been liking these axe handles. I've been snapping up these axe handles as quick as I can see them. They're just hard to get because, again, people snapping them up like crazy. As far as I know, I mean, they're the new pattern for this year. And as far as I know, they'll probably be out. I mean, they're not all of them are limited. They're kind of like regular production models. Like the 6.5 is a regular production model. So with a few exceptions, they're not exactly limited in any way, but people are still just going gaga. They're still really hard to get. I would think they're going to slow down towards the end of the year as more and more people get the ones they're looking for. There's a few others that I'm still trying to get my hands on. Just, again, real difficult for even retailers to get a hold of. Case is still having trouble getting, keeping up with demand. So those are the new axe handles that I got. I'm going to shift these over here because this was my pocket carry and that not necessarily what I picked up. So those are all the new knives, with the exception of these two, that I got this week. And I do have one more axe handle that I got this week, But the reason why I held that off is because this is the one that we're going to burn today. This is the bright green bone Gator Jig case axe handle. Let me put this paper away real quick. There we go. So this is the one we're going to burn today, similar to the bright green Gator Jig mini trapper. We're going to add some toast to those ridges, like this one here. I just thought it would look absolutely cool on an axe handle, so we're going to do it on this one. I've actually got another one that I'm going to leave untoasted, so that way I have one pretty much untouched. We're going to take care of this one here. So I'm just going to move these to the side so I have room to work. There we go. And then I'm going to get my tray and everything ready. And we are going to customize the knife. And like I said before, happy 4th of July, everybody. Hope everybody's having a good one. We're going to get this prepped and ready to go. I think I've got... Now, I didn't oil this one. I want to make sure that there's no oil on it. We're going to wipe this thing down. I'm going to tape up the blade so it's easier to handle. Where's all my stuff? There we go. Now, I bought a new torch. I just realized I don't know where it went. There it is. Because my other torch died in the middle of toasting a knife last week. And I do have the camera up a little closer, so hopefully hopefully it'll be a little easier to see. All right, so just wiping off all the oils that might be on the handle. Get that nice and clean. And this is the point where, like I said, it might not be a very long stream today. So if you got any questions, anything you want to talk about knife-wise, now's the time to do it. Why is... Holy crap. Okay, I need to quiet down notifications because, holy crap, they're coming through. Stop it. All right. So all I'm doing is making sure that the handle's nice and clean. I'm going to tear off some tape. This is just painter's tape. I'm going to wrap the blade up a little bit. But I figured there'd be a lot of people out because 4th of July, but I just wanted to do this anyway because I kept talking about how I was going to customize a knife today because I had completely forgot that 4th of July was on a Saturday. But I wanted to keep my word and get it done. I mean, it's gonna be saved on a VOD, so people don't make it today, they'll still get a chance to see it. Okay, so we got that wiped down. Just checking to make sure there's nothing weird on the scales itself that could affect how it toasts. Case knife's generally pretty clean. And I've had very little worry about when it comes to toasting these things. Okay. So I'm not seeing any residual oil. It's not like they added a lot other than that, the pivot. I didn't add anything to this. This is just straight out of the box. I haven't even done any cleaning on it till now. Okay, and what I like to do is I like to start at the bolster and around the edges. So we're going to do that. I'm going to check my torch. And now it's going to lighten up before it darkens up. And you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to grab my thermometer. Hang on a second. Now, as much as I say I'm rushing through things here, You got to be patient. Hey, Jim, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. We're toasting a bright Gator Jig bone axe handle today. And just started. How are things going with you? Happy 4th. And let me know what you guys are carrying in your pocket. I showed you what was in my pocket. I showed you yours. Or showed me mine. I can't talk. I showed you mine. Show me yours. Now, again, I want to keep this down a certain temp. I don't want to get too high. We are at 125 is the highest that I see. I try to keep it below 150. Definitely keep it below 200. And we're going to go around the edges. I don't know. It's just, I don't know why I do it this way. It's just how I did it. Or I started doing these toasts. Is starting around the edges. There we go. Now, checking temps. I am at about 156 was the highest. It's already cooling down. So we're going to give that a little bit of time to cool off a little bit more before I continue with the toasting. This is the part where you just got to be patient. Can't rush, because you try to go too fast. Next thing you know, you crack the bone or you go too dark. And once you know, you can toast a knife, but you can't make it lighter. You can make it darker, you just can't make it lighter. So once you get it too dark, you're done. That's it. That's what you got to go with. I had some coffee. So while we're going through that, I'm just going to admire this 6.5 one again. That looks so nice. Now, it's not true stag. True stag, I can't imagine how much a stag, for an actual stag version of this would be. It would be worth it. I have a few actual stag bone scaled cases, but not too many. And the ones I do have are actually rather small. Like I think I have like a peanut and maybe a doctor's knife in like red stag. And if I remember correctly, those were like a baby doc, much smaller knife. And if I remember correctly, I think those ran like around 160 or close to that. But the bone stags are just very, very pretty. And I love how they make them nice and thick too. Like them thick. I just feel like anytime I get an axe handle, I just feel like I'm really lucky to get my hands on one. Let's see here. Where'd my thermometer go again? There we are. Now I like to use a tin because it helps protect my tabletop. So I use a tin. The tin's actually from another knife or another. It's another knife. Remington. I think there was like a set of 2 rather inexpensive knives that came in this collector's tin. I've been using this for all my burning. Okay, we're going to keep going around this edge. And this does take a toast pretty quick. And you got to be careful of those pins and don't linger on the pins or by the bolsters too long. Because if it's going to crack anywhere, that's where it's going to crack. And we'll watch that temp again because I ran that a little long. Okay, we were approaching like 170 on that. So we're going to let that sit. Let that cool down. So how's everybody doing? Any other questions? Or I just like talking about knives. I can talk people's ears off on pocket knives. Like favorite knives. I collect. Now I know I do and show a lot of traditionals during my lives. And the funny thing is when I'm doing my videos, I concentrate more on modern knives. My collection, when I started collecting knives, I focused mainly on modern knives. It wasn't until about a year ago, really, I started really collecting traditional styled knives like Case, Rough Rider, Frost, etc. So yeah, and I've been collecting for years. Again, mostly modern knives, but I got a real interest in liking of these traditional knives because artistically I just think they're absolutely gorgeous. The materials that they use, a lot of times, natural materials. You do have synthetic materials in there as well, but like the bone, the wood, things like that. Hey, KKLM, welcome to the stream. Not really a traditional knife guy, but always down to talk about steel things with edges. Exactly. I was never that much of a traditional guy. Until, like I said, I was just saying about a year ago, I got so into collecting these things that now the number of traditional knives rivals the amount of modern knives that I have in my collection. I don't think it's surpassed it yet, but it's getting close. And the majority of them being from Case. I've got quite a few Rough Riders, which are less expensive, still really gorgeous knives, but there's just something about the natural bone that I like, the wood and things like that. And I have this thing about like simple knives. I don't know how to explain it. I do appreciate a neat, really cool modern knife, but at the same time, I appreciate the stuff like, I guess you could say, on the other end of the spectrum with, just a simple slip joint and simpler materials. And I see a lot of these as, well, I see every knife in a way as artwork, but traditional knives almost even more so. But I'm always carrying, and I've said this many times, I'm always carrying a modern knife with me as well as a traditional knife. I was explaining when I first started the stream today, this was my carry today, which was the Ramet woodpecker. This was in my pocket today, as well as this other gator jig that I burned last week. As you can see there, these were my carry. I always carry a modern knife, and then I carry a traditional as well. I think at minimum, because I always forget that I have a knife on my keychain, this little tiny Japanese Higanakami. I realize I carry anywhere from 3 to 4 knives on me without even thinking about it. If you count my little keychain knife. You actually cut yourself on a slip joint at a blade. Oh, and no one noticed, so you quickly put it down and walked away. You cut yourself, you buy it. Well, yeah. There is most places you do have a you cut yourself, you buy it policy. And slip joints, it's just, I was a little apprehensive. That's still a bit warm. A little apprehensive at first. But it's just another one of those things that you just sort of get used to. You need to come check out your whatnot. Hey, yeah, I'll take a look. You got one going tomorrow at 11:30 Eastern time. Digging stuff and things will be the name of the auction. Yeah, I'll have to check it out. I do a lot of buying on whatnot. Most of my traditionals come from Chasing Blades. I've got a really good relationship with them. 2 awesome brothers. I know they're working Canton, Texas right now. They've got a table up and running this weekend. And there's a few other sellers. Usually when it comes to modern knives, I've done a lot of purchasing from Blade City and Going Gear, although it's been a little while. Money's been kind of a thing this last couple of weeks because everything's hitting this paycheck. So things are slowing down. I don't even know what I'm going to do for like next week. I know I don't know if I even have a knife coming in next week. Holy cow. Because like everything broke, everything shut down, and every bill is like, it's just that perfect storm where everything just wants to hit on nearly the same time, or at least the very same paycheck. Everything's hitting the very same paycheck. There is a trend. Yeah, you want an extremely, well, not maybe an extremely strong. You want a nice, strong, and secure stop. I do really like it when traditional knives also have a half stop. They do make them a little safer, in my opinion. If you don't like a very strong or like a super strong, I'm going to call them a D10. Don't go with Rosecraft blades. I like Rosecraft blades, but they're very, very strong springs. Rough Riders tend to be pretty good. If you want, if you're looking to get on the lesser expensive side of things, Rough Riders. Case knives are great, but you're going to spend a little bit more on case knives. So, and then if you're worried about it, you can go the modern route too. There's a lot of modern knife makers that make slip joint knives and do a really damn good job of it. Civivi has a couple slip joints. Kaiser even has a couple. Nearly every modern maker has at least one or two slip joint models in their roster. Hey, Michael, how you doing? You prefer large classic folders. Like, I'm going to assume you're talking about something like, well, this is not maybe, I don't know. It depends on what you consider large. Like, my Buck 110. Now, I added a thumb stud to this one. This was just an aftermarket thumb stud. Normally, you just have a nail nick. This is a lockback. The Buck 110, just a classic knife. They're doing some modernizations on these also. I know they have a slim model that I really want to get my hands on that includes a pocket clip, making it easier to carry, because otherwise something like these things are hefty. They come with sheaths as well, and I think that's the best way to carry them. Something like that. It's kind of just really weighty in the pocket. You usually buy cases. That's where the majority of my traditionals are. The majority of my traditionals are case knives. I just really like them. I don't know how else to explain it. They're just very collectible. You just sent Chasing Blades an envelope. No kidding. An envelope today with Hey, I sent them with stickers in it for the channel. And my phone's acting a little better. It's still a little wonky, so if it blacks out, don't be too surprised. You were wrapping up auctions for your Whatnot auction yesterday. Yeah, I don't know if I could sell again. I've done a handful of shows, like not even a handful. I'd say like 3 or so shows. It's stressful for me. I get anxious. Oh, there's a squirrel up on the screen. That's from my video game channel. I get anxious when I send those things out. Like, I already stocked the. Okay, now my phone's deciding to be an idiot. I already stocked the mailman as it is when I have stuff coming in. I realize when I sell stuff, I stock them when stuff is going out because I just want to make sure everybody's getting their things. So it like. I cause myself anxiety when I'm shipping stuff out. The knife that got you was the Tactile Knife Co. Ranger. It was so strong that you almost felt like you were trying to close a fixed blade. Yeah, it gets kind of scary on some of those. What was I saying? I kind of squirreled all over the place. Oh, yeah. You can check out some modern ones. Civivi makes a few that are really nice. One of my favorites, actually, where is it? If you want to check out a modern slip joint. Where did I put it? I had it just out on my table because I'm usually carrying the darn thing. This one's from Kaiser. This is called their trestle. Now this one's done in Damascus, and they have a few other models. But this is their trestle. This one is in an acid etched Damascus. Just one of my favorite slip joints from Kaiser. So it's kind of like a, if a modern and a traditional had a baby. And I believe that's aluminum scales with, I can't remember the wood. I think it's Karuti wood inserts. And again, acid etched Damascus steel for the blade. They have, I think the other one I have is not Damascus, like a Nitro V. It's either Nitro V or 14C. I can't remember. 14C 28N steel. But the real cool thing about the Kaiser one is a lot of the modern manufacturers, like I say modern manufacturers, but like Kaiser, Civivi, Remet, even I have one from Remet. They all generally have half stops, which I do like. But Kaiser does theirs a little differently, where most half stops on their slip joints tend to be 90 degrees. Kaiser likes to have a greater angle to their slip joint, so it's not a 90-degree half stop. I forgot what degree it's supposed to be, but their half stop, and they advertise it as having a greater angle just to make it a little safer on the close. So, and that was their point for having an angle like this. Like, hold on, let me grab another slip joint from a modern knife maker. This is the Remet Squirrel. Picked this up because of reasons. This is another one. This one's made by Remet. It's got an oil slick titanium scales. This one is a slip joint, but you can see it's like a 90-degree angle, whereas the Kaiser has just a slightly wider angle on the half stop. But they say, and they do that because they feel it's just a tad more safe in their opinion when it comes to closing the slip joint. So, darn it, my phone, it was working fine. Now it's acting up. I don't know why it does that. I'm trying to figure that out still. But this one, I highly recommend the trestle. Or if you don't mind spending a little bit more money, the Remet Squirrel is another favorite of mine. I really like that one. And like I said, there's other manufacturers. Nearly every manufacturer that does modern knives, they usually have at least a couple slip joints in their catalog somewhere. Hey, David, how you doing? Stan, welcome to the stream. Happy 4th of July. I really wish I knew what was going on with my phone, because it was working perfectly fine when I started the stream. Now it's being stupid. Okay, I've been segueing away from the knife toasting. Let's see. It's probably cooled down completely at this point. Yeah. God darn it. I've had people ask about sending me knives and stuff. Okay. Hello, phone. Now what? Did you completely just go out? Stop it. I've had people ask if I want to do like if they could send knives and then I can do stuff on knives. The only thing that I'm leery of doing that is because this is all out of pocket. I'm not a big channel. I've got I'm doing this because I started this channel because I just enjoy talking about knives. I enjoy the hobby. I really like the hobby. I enjoy meeting and talking to people that are, have the same interest. And so all these I've obviously bought on my own, spent quite a lot of money. and it's not that I don't trust anybody else. Like literally, I don't trust myself. And what it is because I know I can be a klutz. And I would hate to have somebody send me a really nice knife and for something to happen to it unintentionally. I always try to take care of my knives and stuff as best as I can. You know, I've got cases, I've got boxes and all that stuff. But Murphy's Law, you know, my luck, somebody sends me like a $600 knife, for example, and something happens to it. Just sheer bad luck. There's no way I'd be able to like pay that one back, and I would feel absolutely horrible. So it's nothing against like people wanting to send me stuff. It's more that I'd like to be able to be comfortable enough to handle an issue like that before I ever start just like I guess borrowing knives to do videos on. If that makes sense. Happy 4th of July. So, and you know, if it means that I have to slow down a week or two while I take care of other stuff, it is what it is. Again, I started doing these videos and I started doing these lives as just really a fun thing to do. And I've learned so much. And I've mentioned this before. Like I've been collecting for years. And when I say I've been collecting for years, I've been collecting for a very long time. Ever since doing my channel, yeah, my collection has boomed. I mean, it kind of goes with the territory. You know, you start a channel, and next thing you know, I'm snapping stuff up left and right. And now I'm getting close to like 500 knives. I'm around 450 to 500 knives right now. And I forgot where I was getting at. There's a reason why I use the squirrel. Because I forget what I was doing like 5 minutes ago. Oh yeah. In the this channel, I've been going to close to about a year now, or roughly around a year. Well, about a year. So yeah, this channel's been live for a year. And in all the years that I've been collecting knives, you can take everything I've learned within this last year of starting the channel. I've learned so much more in the time span of having run this channel about knives and, you know, my hobby and stuff than I have in all the other years combined. Because again, you know, while I would sometimes dig into stuff, you know, find neat and interesting things on my own, when I started the channel, you know, starting to meet people and talk to people and have actual discussions, something that I don't have a chance to do all the time. I'm a really busy person. I'm lucky to have the time enough to do these channels and these videos. And getting a chance to talk to people on live and do research for when I'm doing a video and stuff like that, I've learned so much. I've also fallen down a lot of rabbit holes, but I've learned so much over this short period of time that really, I mean, that's probably one of the greatest things I can take away from this is just being able to chat with everybody. And yeah, I mean, I've had people offer, and I appreciate the offers for sending me stuff to talk about. That's just, I don't want anything to happen to it. It's just me, you know. I would feel horrible if somebody had lent me something, and that was the one time I, you know, fumbled and ended up dropping it somewhere. And I've got stuff all over the place. You know, if it hit metal and next thing you know, it's chipped an edge or, you know, cracked a scale or something to that effect. If it was something like a $50, $60, $100 knife, you know, that's one thing. You know, I would still feel horrible. I could cover that. But if somebody were to send me like a $500 knife, I'd be up Schitt's Creek. I would be seriously up Schitt's Creek. Okay, so we got the edges on this one. We're going to start working on the jigging itself. And actually, I'm going to go, I'm going to go down this way. So I'm going to go down the center, and we're going to start adding some color to the jigging. Now, again, I got to be careful of those pins because those darken up really fast, and if it's going to crack, that's going to be the place it does. Now, the way I prevent anything from cracking, or at least reducing the chance of anything from cracking, and this is why it takes a long time to do these, I just make sure I don't go, like, I try to stay under 150 or roughly around 150, and then I let it cool. I have hit as high as just under or around 200 without any adverse effects, but I had another knife that I was kind of testing burning on, and I know I hit around 200 on that knife, and I did notice there was a hairline crack that was on the knife. Now, I will be honest, I don't know if that hairline crack happened because I was burning it, or if it happened, or if the hairline crack was just made more visible, like I didn't notice it before, and it was just highlighted because of the toasting. Hello, phone. Yeah, I know. It was working fine when I started. I don't know. It's almost like something interfering with it. Like brand new phone, state of the art phone, Samsung 26 Ultra Mega Super Plus King Ultra Mega whatever. I'm out of descriptors. But as far as I know, it's the newest phone, and I've had so many problems with this thing. at least when it comes to trying to do live video. It works, and then sometimes it decides to act up. Like, it was working perfectly fine for a while right when I started. Now it's acting up again. And I don't know why. Eventually, again, I'm hoping maybe I can get like just a dedicated camera at some point. It'd be a lot less of a headache. So hopefully I don't know, like I said, I think it's like something like is interfering, or could be somebody trying to call me. I have no idea. I have sounds and notifications turned off, so. But I was saying, yeah, just got to really watch the temperature and the heat. Give it time to cool off between, hitting it with a torch. Right now, the highest I've got it, I can see here, is about 160, 170 towards the butt end, and probably around the pins. And that's, at that point, we'll let it rest. Yeah, I was when I'm focusing on the knife, it's kind of, sometimes it's a little hard to notice that the darn camera went out. I brain farted. It's gonna be one of those days. I brain fart a lot. Hopefully, I can get a dedicated camera for this. I don't know why this is looking darker. I have like a room light on, and then I have like an overhead light that my phone's actually attached to in order to do this. Marco, how you doing? So far that's coming out pretty well. I want to darken it. Obviously, I want those ridges to come out more. To give you an example, this is what I'm shooting for. Whoop, hello. Because I've done this one last week. I did a Barlow a couple of weeks before. I just really love how those lines come out on that jigging. And this is what I'm shooting for. I could probably toast this a little more. I got to stop. No, I'm fine. I really got to stop looking at something. I could toast it more. Because then you end up with a dark brick. This is the one I was talking about. I'm not sure if this was due to overheating. You can see the crack right at. Hello, it froze. God damn it! I think it might be even when I'm switching. Could even be when it's switching lenses to something close up. I don't know what it's doing. But let's see if this works again. Give me a second. There we go. Whoa. Whoa, that was weird. Weird water effect. I'm at the point where I might even give AT&T as my provider, and that's who I get the phone from. I might give them a call and go, hey, I have problems with this phone. But you can see, crap, damn it. You can see a hairline crack right under the badge and right where the lock is, where my thumb is. You can see a hairline crack. Now, again, I don't know if that occurred because I hit it too long, like I heated it up too much, or if that crack was already there and then toasting it just happened to highlight it more. It could go either way. I don't remember seeing a crack there, but it was a white bone originally, so if it could have been just really hard to see to begin with, and I didn't notice it until after. But that's why I try to pay really close attention to the temperature. Where did I put the sleeve for this thing? There it is. So that was kind of a tester knife that I was doing. And you can see where on that pin, it's gotten really dark already. I'm going to hit from the other side. Actually, where's my thermometer? We are down to under 100 already. Just a hair under 100. And you don't want to cool them off, too quickly. I use the tin to help cool it off a little bit. I also always open the blade. The blade helps act as a heat sink to kind of wick heat away from the liners, because the liners are really what's heating up as well as the bone. And then I have a ceiling fan on low. Now, that cools it. That helps a lot in cooling it. But you do want to be careful. You don't want to cool it off too fast, because the temperature extreme is going from hot to cold, hot to cold. You got the bone essentially expanding and contracting. That's what's going to cause the crack. And when you do toast, you want to be aware that the bone will it sounds funny. The bone will shrink a little bit. Just a hair. Okay. Let's see where we're at in temps. 160. So this is why I keep going and stopping. I keep starting and stopping so it has a chance to cool off. Otherwise, it's coming out pretty nicely. I have one worry area, and that's that pin, but that's not that bad. Just got to wait for it to cool down. So nobody answered my question. What's everybody else carrying? Now, I rotate my carry I have a crap ton of knives, so I do rotate my knives a lot. Kind of like, good God. As I got more and more knives, I realized I started matching knives, and does this knife go well with my outfit? I'm wearing jeans and a t-shirt all the time, so pretty much anything's going to go fine. It's gotten to the point where I'm strangely color coordinating a lot of knives. Sometimes I'll carry all green knives. I'll carry all white or all red knives. I'm pretty sure I've lost my mind when it comes to some of this stuff. But yeah, what are you guys carrying in your pocket? What are you taking out with you when you go to see the fireworks on the 4th of July? You go out later today. Okay. Okay, give that a little more chance to cool again. I am at What's the hottest this is at? 130. So not too bad. And this one's moving right along. And it does dull the knife down a bit. Once I'm done toasting it completely, we'll give it a good polishing, and that'll bring the shine back to the bone. But so far, that's coming up pretty well. I'll move these off to the side a little bit more. I have a ceiling to how much I'm willing to spend on a knife. That's another thing. Like I'd love to have a $500 knife. Where is it? Okay, there we go. I'd love to have a $500 knife, but the more expensive a knife gets, the less inclined I'd be wanting to carry it. Again, it has to do with that whole if something happened to it, I'd never be able to replace it. So my ceiling tends to be like the highest I've ever spent is just under 300. And even then that gets it starts to get a little not sure I want to carry it at that point. This one, let's see here. Trying to even out some of the toast. I'm going to come up from this angle. What, 120? Does it just hit that spot? Does anybody else customize their stuff? I saw a seller that had a whole bunch of case knives that they had toasted themselves. And then that's when I got really intrigued with doing these burnings. And then I realized it's essentially, now I don't know exactly how Case does theirs, but they're essentially kind of doing the same thing. Now, I don't think they're taking it. I don't know how they do it. I never went to like the Case, had a Case tour or anything. So if somebody has some insight on how they actually do their knives, I would love to hear. But I figured I'm essentially kind of like doing what, the same thing they're doing for the most part. Okay. I think this side might be good. I can see one or two areas that I'd like to darken it a little bit more. We are at 120. I kind of want to get, I need a pointer. I kind of want to get this area right around here a little bit more. Where is it? Where's my camera froze again? Right around there. And the dye does lighten up. It's really strange. I noticed one thing, especially with the green, the deeper areas, the color will deepen again in these valleys here. So it looks a lot lighter, but those will deepen again, especially after a polish and clean. But I'd like to get these ridges up on there a little bit more toast. There we go. Okay, I think this is where I want it. So I think we're done on this side. Got a lot of nice brown in there. Got those ridges nicely, I don't want to say highlighted, but they're kind of dark. The opposite of whatever highlighted is. Just going to even the edges around here real quick. Let this cool, and then we will work on the other side. I might be getting addicted to the smell of burning bone, which is a weird thing to say. But if you haven't gotten into traditional knives, I would. If you want to get it, if you want to check out some traditional knives, but don't want to spend a large amount, because I know case can get kind of expensive, I would highly suggest Rough Rider. Now, the quality in Rough Rider can sometimes be a little wonky, but for the most part, they've actually been pretty good, and they're really inexpensive in comparison to case. A lot of Rough Riders, especially on Whatnot, I see a lot of Rough Riders go anywhere from like $15 to $30. And you can get some. They have a huge variety of colors and styles and patterns and things like that. Materials that are used. They have premium. Even their premium ones aren't that expensive. I think premium Rough Riders, which would be like their, I'm trying to think, like their black box or their limiteds. Usually they don't. I haven't seen one go over like. Maybe around $50 for like the higher end Rough Riders. But usually around like 15 to $30, you can get a really good Rough Rider. They've got a really good lifetime warranty on them. I'm like this one's a Rough Rider Trapper. It's not a real, I think this was supposed to be like a stag, but it's not real. It's synthetic, just burnt and jigged to try to emulate stag. But it's synthetic. But it's a standard trapper size. And one interesting thing with Rough Rider is their full-size trappers have a half stop, whereas case full-size trappers don't. So you have a half stop with these, which makes them a little safer in regards to working the slip joint, closing. They're very easy to sharpen, very easy to maintain, and they might not have premium materials, but I mean they work. If you're just looking for a kind of a workhorse knife, it's hard to go wrong with a Rough Rider, especially for the cost. Now, granted, you might have to sharpen them a little bit more often, but they are easy to sharpen and pretty easy to get a really sharp razor edge on them. And so, like I said, easy to maintain. And if something were to happen to it, I mean, if you've got a $20 Rough Rider, that's a lot easier to swallow than if something were to happen to you, like your $100 knife or something like that. Granted, like I said, the workmanship is another thing. They might not be the best in regards to QC. You might have a little blade rub, or you got to be careful. You might have a weak spring or something like that. But like I said, they have a lifetime warranty. They're inexpensive, and so it's a lot less pain on the wallet. A lot less stress on the wallet, I should say. I've actually got quite a few Rough Rider, and this one is one of the ones I keep on my desk. It's just, I forgot what they call this. I just know it's a synthetic stag, but they do make them quite pretty. I mean, you got slanted bolsters on this one, slanted, fluted, and pinched bolster on this one, which is something that would normally drive the price of a case traditional knife like way up. Having bolsters that are shaped like this, that would drive the price of a case crazy high. If you had fluted, slanted, pinched bolsters on a case knife, that you're probably looking at least maybe like a $50 jump in price. Actually, I don't want to hold that. Let's see where we're at. So we just dropped under 100. And looking pretty good. Now it does, like I said, it does look a bit dull. but I really got that texture to pop, which I really, really like. That's what I was going for, and then this will polish up really nicely. So we're going to turn this over and work on the other side now. Give that, again, a little bit more time to cool. And I'm essentially going to do the same thing. Just going to start on the bolster side and work my way down. I'm going to try something. Normally I work on the edges first. I'm going to work on the centering this time, on the ridges on the center. I'm going to start off with those just to see if it handles a little differently. Where's the temp on this? You're still at like 95, really 98 degrees? Are you kidding me? Like 95 degrees on the end. Under 90 towards the bolster. All right. So how's everybody else doing? You guys got quiet. I have to check to make sure like my stream didn't freeze or something, especially with the camera going the way it is, or that my mic didn't die. I have a lot of technical issues. A lot of stuff falling on my glasses. There we go. Okay, let's try this. Now I'm going to go, this time I'm not going to do the edges first. I'm going to hit down the middle. Yeah, that dye disappears pretty quick, or lightens up pretty quick. All right. I know I hit that for a bit of time, so where are we at the temps? 140. That did heat up pretty quick. All right, we'll let that rest a little bit. But I have a blast doing this stuff. Now, I can't toast everything, unfortunately. But I'm damn well giving it a good try. Now, if you're going to toast anything, obviously it's got to be bone. I think if you try to toast wood, it's going to be, you might have a bad time. Unless you're very skilled at wood burning, you might have a very bad time toasting wood. I'm trying to think of other ones I could suggest. Really, Rough Rider is probably one of the ones I suggest the most when it comes to checking out traditionals for the first time. Or, like I said, a lot of modern knife makers make their own slip joints, and I would recommend those more, except a lot of times those can tend to be a bit more pricey depending on who you get them from. Savivis aren't too pricey, but they do run around the same average price that their other knives tend to be, like around 50, 60, 70, depending on the materials. Kaiser, that one I showed, the trestle, I believe was like around $70 or $80. You can get a plain blade version for a little less, if I remember correctly, like maybe 60 to 70. But the trestle is probably one of my favorites, mainly because it is less expensive than some of the others, and I just think they look gorgeous. Trying to think of other traditional knives, but those are the ones those are the only ones that really come to mind. There's marbles. Those could be even cheaper than, marbles and frost can be even cheaper, but one thing that I've noticed is the quality control gets a lot more sporadic. You can have some really excellent frost cutlery knives or really excellent marbles knives, and then I've also seen really bad ones come out of the box as well. Queen cutlery is another one that you can get some decently inexpensive traditionals from. And if you really want to go case, a lot of times they're synthetic knives. They're synthetic scaled knives can be much more affordable than the ones that utilize bone. So if you want to stick with an American-made case, but don't want to spend all that much, I would check out their synthetics. Okay. That one I lingered on. We'll let that cool a little bit. Oh, we hit high on that one. We're like 190. Yeah, we'll let that cool. Don't want to overdo it. So we'll turn this around and we'll come back from the other side. I think the bolster side tends to cool a lot faster because, like I said, that blade acts like a heat sink. And a lot of times the knife is at its hottest towards, I don't know what the technical term is, but the butt end of it, the axe handle portion, tends to stay at a higher temp. You know, we're just at around. Really, it's funny that it registered like nearly 190 because it's already at like 104. Meaning that cooled off really fast. I don't know if that was a weird false reading. And what are you guys' plans for this 4th? I'm making burgers tonight. And then I'm going to stare out my window. It's actually, I just realized it's like really cloudy. We've been getting hit with storms so much these last couple of weeks. These last few days have been nuts. At least the fire alarm didn't go off again last night. Like, holy crap. Fire alarm goes off. What? We've had 2 fire alarms in this apartment building just this week already. Both at the same time. Both when I was running my video game stream. And for those wondering, yeah, I have a second stream. Well, actually, that was my first stream. I play video games at night, and I stream those. And I've had a fire alarm going off during that stream, 2 nights in a row at the same exact time. Now, another thing that you want to be aware of when you're toasting is any little, quote, I'm going to say imperfections, but I don't see them as imperfections. They're just kind of like natural variances because no 2 knives ever look the same. And when you jig the bone on a knife, they don't always come across like perfectly smooth. You have the ridges and valleys of the jigging, but a lot of times there might be like minute, not necessarily cracks, but maybe where the bone might have chipped a little bit during the jigging. There might be a little bit of another ridge or indent. And when you're toasting a knife like this, the raised portions darken a lot quicker than any of the lowered portions of the bone. And so when you have, I use the term imperfections loosely, burning the bone can kind of highlight those. Kind of like with that last knife I showed you with the happy little variances. Thank you, Terry. Kind of like that knife that I showed you that I kind of overdid. I actually have a feeling that crack might have been there already. But if that's the case, if that crack was already there, like burning the bone will just literally highlight that crack. So it might not have been visible. That's what I was saying, is this was a smooth white bone, and that crack might have already been there. I just never noticed it, or it was really hard to see. But toasting it, it essentially darkens the edges, so any fine cracks, anything like that, they're just gonna pop. You're just gonna, they're gonna be much more easily visible. And I noticed there's a few, not cracks, but there's like a few. It's not like perfectly flat. I don't know if I can bring this up and you can see, but you notice like right here. I want to see the light. It's not perfectly straight. There's a little dip and possible like maybe a slight bone chip when they were jigging it. And it kind of highlights that a little bit. Might be a little hard to see, so you don't have a perfect line there. But I'm just saying that if you burn things like this, those things, things like that will tend to pop out. Now, it doesn't bother me because it's one of those things where that's one of the things I like about using natural materials like this is the uniqueness nearly every knife is going to have. Like I can get a dozen of these. If I were to get a dozen of these bright green Gator Jig knives, no two are going to look exactly the same. They're all going to have their different variances. They're going to have, the jigging is going to look a little different. The dye job is going to look a little different between each and every knife. No two are going to look the same. But that's one of the things that I like about this, or about these knives, is the exact fact that no two look alike. But that's just something to be aware of if you're doing something like what I'm doing here. Is if something like that bothers you, you're going to be essentially putting a spotlight on any of those little bits. And if it bothered you before, it's going to bother you a lot more afterwards. So just another thing to be aware of when you're burning or toasting a knife, is it will really bring to light a lot of those quote imperfections, those happy little variances in the bone. I happen to like those variances. Like I said, it's just something about the uniqueness of each and every knife. And this one's coming up pretty quick and already looking pretty good. Now, like I said, you can go darker, but you can't go lighter. However, they do tend to like the edges will lighten up just a hair after polishing, because you're literally removing a very minute or very fine amount of material when you polish. So some of those areas might lighten up a little bit. That was thunder. Yeah, it's gonna. Oh wow, that's gonna suck. I don't think I'm gonna see much in the way of fireworks tonight. Kind of a bummer. Hope you guys have a better show. Wait, where's my temp at before I start hitting this again? 2130 is the highest I see. So I'll give that a little bit more time. Otherwise, coming up pretty well. I want to try to even out those ridges a little bit more. Get them to show a little bit more. And then we'll be ready to polish. Moving on pretty quick, though. As much time as I'm taking to pause, it's moving along pretty well. I'm excited because on another knife that's case is coming out soon, because I've really liked how the jigging has been taking this burning. The jigging is the texturing of the knife. Like this is a Rogers jig. The way they textured this, they all have different names. They call this a Rogers jig. The knife that I'm burning, and this knife is called a Gator jig. It's just the way it's textured. A smooth bone would just simply be smooth and no jigging. But I've really liked this Gator jig and how it takes the takes the torch with highlighting all those ridges. And I found out Case is supposed to be coming out with another, one's an axe handle. I think they're going to come out in a couple other patterns, possibly a trapper and things like that. But at the very least, I've seen an axe handle. And it's going to have the same jigging. So it's going to be a gator jig, except it's going to be a persimmon bone gator jig, which is an orange dyed, they call it persimmon, but it's going to have the same type of texture or jigging that this green one has, just in an orange color. And I can't wait for them to come out. I've asked around, and I do want to try to get 2 of them, because I know as soon as the persimmon bones, the persimmon gator jig bones come out, 1, I'm going to want one. 2, I'm going to want to burn another. So I've been asking around to see if I can get a hold of 2 of them as soon as they get here, or as soon as they come out. I don't know when that color is coming out. All I know is I want to toast it. I've toasted a tequila sunrise, which is similar to the persimmon. I think there's a slight difference in tone. But I did a tequila sunrise version that I just lightly toasted, and I thought that looked pretty nice. This was a Sodbuster Jr. Whoa, there we go. That I lightly toasted, and normally you don't have those dark toasted ridges or anything like that. And I thought this came out really well. I would love to see this color, which is, like I said, the persimmon bone, and this type of jigging, this type of texturing. So I cannot wait till that comes out. As soon as that comes out, I want to snag 2. I want to burn 1. I don't know if anybody else has any clue as to the date as when those might come out, but I would love to hear if someone has some insider information. Okay. Toasted that. Let's see, we're at 150 again. Oh, hit 200 near the bolster, really? Didn't think it would hit that high. I'm going to let that cool out more. I think I'm pretty good with this end. All I want to do now is get a little bit more color towards this area, and then the edges all along this side. Because of those variances, like I said, in the bone, there's some spots that I'm just not going to be able to hit without possibly getting way too dark, and spots that I don't want it to get too dark in. So we're just going to let those go. I just want to hit this area a little bit more, and then along this edge. So I've got most of this edge done already. Maybe a little bit towards the bolster. Could use a little bit more. But otherwise, we're getting close to done with this. Let's see here. Get down to 112 pretty quick. So I'm wondering if I'm actually hitting 200 or not. That cooled off considerably fast. If it did hit 200. Let me see if what's the tin at. Tin's at 80. What's the blade at? 85. No, we're still showing about 100 degrees, or a little over 100 degrees here on the bone. Give that a little bit more time. Yeah, Mike, you have enabled. Oh, you enabled the experimental build. Oh, 2-player and limited, but good to test. Yeah, we'll test it out. I don't know when. I've already got set plans for tomorrow, and today I've been working on something else. So I don't know, sometime next week, because I don't have like a major game going on. Like in other words, I don't have like a game that's going to take up the majority of my time. I've been kind of bouncing from one game to another until something like, say, if I have a major release like the James Bond First Light, was a complete story major release type game, usually I'll concentrate on that for a few nights in a row. But I don't have anything like that going on, so kind of just bouncing around from game to game, whatever I just felt like playing. But yeah, sometime next week would be good. That's not my thermometer. That's my torch. That would have been weird. I almost gunned the knife again. All right, let's toast these edges a little bit. Okay. Give that time to cool off. And then the last thing I want to do is I want to add a little bit more color to that spot here. So I want to add a little bit more toast where it flattens out right where that laser's at. And I think we might be getting ready to polish this one down. Polish this one. I'd like to add maybe a little bit more here. Definitely want to add a little bit more here, and maybe here. Otherwise, it's coming along quite nicely and a lot quicker than I thought. So what's the temperature? I'm like using this as a pointer, but I haven't looked at the temp. We are looking at 100, 110, 112. Give it a couple more minutes. And we'll see how it goes. Any questions otherwise? That to the side. Yeah, I just really like I just love that texture. I wasn't sure about it before. I've seen the texture before, and it just never caught my eye until I decided to burn one. Actually, if it wasn't for these axe handles, I probably wouldn't have bothered getting them. The only reason why I got into the Gator jigs is strictly because of the bright green bone axe handle. Those came out. I liked the axe handles, grabbed one, and then when I got it in my hand, I was just like, ooh, I like it. Having it in my hand, and realized I like it a lot more than I thought. And then finally toasting one, I liked it even more. It's amazing how much of a difference getting something like this in your hand is versus just looking at it on a screen. A little more color there. I'm trying to get the ridges over here. There we go. And a little more color in that flat spot. There we go. I know that rates the temp. So where are we at? 130. Not bad. And I really got to quit lasering and staring at the fucking laser spot with my bare eye. Lasering my eyeballs. Yeah, I'll let you know. But best bet sometime next week during the week. I really got to learn to look at the frickin' laser spot on my screen. So I keep lasering my eyeball, and that's not good. Where's my temps at? Not bad. A little more toast on this side. I think there you go. I think we might be done. I just got to polish this thing off. Let me check the edges. Make sure I got those where I want it. Yeah, that could be a little more even. Okay. I think that's where I want it. We will... Oh, hold on. We will polish that off. Let's see what the temp is. Once that cools. Okay, yeah. We're at like 150 degrees or so. Once that cools, we will give that a good polish, oiling and cleaning. That should also deepen the color of the green that's been left in the valleys of that jigging. And really make those lines pop even more. Otherwise, that came through pretty quick. I just really like how that pattern comes out. All right. Let's see where we're at. We're at 100, 110, and dropping. I'll give it a few more minutes, then I'll be able to handle it a lot easier with my hands. Anybody, another thing, anybody got any suggestions on what they'd like to see toasted? I've done sod busters and, like on a color, because some of these, you try to imagine, like, I don't know how something like this would go. I know not that I plan on toasting this, but like as you've seen with the green, once you start hitting it with flame, that dye lightens up a lot before it starts taking any color in or any burn. And so I know if I were to hit something like this, it would lighten up considerably where the flame would touch. And I think I haven't done a blue bone yet, but I'm not sure what kind of jigging I'd try. Like, I think there's a gator jig in blue, or at least there used to be. I don't know if they're still around. That might be something I might want to try. But if you guys have suggestions, I'm not sure if I'd be able to do it, but if I can get my hands on something like that to try, I would definitely give it a go. Preferably nothing limited and expensive. Okay. Just giving it a once over, giving it a good look to see if there's anything that I want to change on it, and not really seeing anything. It's got a pretty good toast on there. Let's see what the temp is, if I can handle that. We're at just around 100 degrees. That one's saying 95 now. And roughly about 100 degrees, like right there. I want it to cool off quite a bit before I start hitting it with a polishing cloth. I'd like to see it around like 80. So I'll give it a little bit more time. Paying a lot of attention to the temperatures on these. I hope you guys have a better chance at seeing some fireworks than I do, because it is dark for 3 p.m. 3 p.m. my time anyway. It's like 3:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. And the weather here has been just plain stupid. Let's see where we're at. We're... Now this one's still showing like 97 degrees at that spot. How did it go higher? I'm not hitting it with anything. You shouldn't be getting warmer. You should be getting cooler. And for some odd reason, that's warmer. Nice, relaxing weekend. This was my only plan today, other than video gaming again later tonight, and then cooking burgers. So, not a big event planner. Okay. I think we're at the temp where I can start polishing this. So, that's looking good. That side, this side, looking good. You can see, like I was talking about, like the little chip areas when they were doing the jigging, how things like that get highlighted. So if stuff like that bothers you, I would not do any toasting. But if it doesn't, go for it. Quite a lot of milk. The amount of milk increases also when you do a toast. Where's my... Now, when I polish, the only thing I really need is a good sunshine cloth. And where did I put my sunshine cloth? I have them like all over the place. A sunshine cloth is essentially a jeweler's cloth. If you look up sunshine cloth on Amazon, they're typically a yellow colored cloth, and they have like an abrasive that's impregnated in the cloth. And that abrasive is what helps polish metals. They're called jeweler's cloths because a lot of times they're used for polishing jewelry and, putting a nice shine on them. Yeah, what the heck did I do with it? I just had it out here and I dropped it somewhere. I might have to open up another one. Oh, there it is. And because they have that abrasive in them, you never want to wash them. You basically just keep using them until they're done. And the way you know they're done is they go completely black, or practically completely black. This one, I still have a good side on this one. You can see I've used this side quite a bit. But they do a really great job of polishing metal. And I realize they do an amazing job at polishing bone as well. And you can already see just a light pass, and we've got some shine back there. No, I didn't hit... You can see how it's a bit dull here on this side. You've got a little bit of shine, but it's noticeably duller. If my camera would work, I notice that every time I get close, my camera decides, I think it's shifting things, like changing lenses, because there's like 20 lenses on this freaking phone. Yeah, it's a bit duller on this side. You'll see the shine really come back after I've give it a good once over this cloth. And just gently rub the cloth over it. Now, I'm not going to be able to get into all the nooks and crannies, but I try to get into those valleys a bit. And you can see you get a little dark on the cloth. That's just all the stuff that it's taken off, oxidizing on the cloth. And get this one side. Get the edges. And then the ends. Make sure I get this other side. The only thing the only thing you really want to be careful when it comes to sunshine cloth, you don't want to use it on anything that you can't use abrasives on. Because I've seen people use this stuff on fake jewelry and it takes the coating right off. Then you end up with plastic. Because all the metallic paints come off. And it comes off really fast. I tested it out in some fake jewelry before myself. And holy crap, that paint comes off really quick. Okay. I think we're good. And you can see it's got a lot more shine to it now. It didn't take much. Really glassy shine. I think that came out beautiful. I really like that brown on the green. It reminds me of another... there's an exclusive that Shepherd Hills... It's a Shepherd Hills exclusive called a lizard skin. And it's essentially a green bone that's been toasted, except it has a different jigging texture. It's not a gator jig. I forget what kind of texture it has. Maybe it might be like a corn cob jig or something. I can't quite recall. I've got one, but it's currently in a box somewhere. But it really reminds me of the lizard skin from Shepherd Hills, which is another reason why I really liked doing this, toasting this green bone. That came out really nice. And then we're just going to oil this real quick. Give it another run over with the cloth. And then we're going to clean the knife itself. Whenever I plan on toasting a knife, I don't do any cleaning to it. I leave it. I essentially leave it as it is in the box until I'm ready to go. And then I wait till after I toast it to do any cleaning, because to clean a knife, I'll run oil down the well of the blade, and it tends to get all over. And that can affect how the bone essentially burns. Excuse me. Where do I put my oil? Always losing my stuff. I'm always moving my stuff, and I forget where I move it. And my oil, there it is. And then an oil cloth somewhere. There we go. I like using this camellia oil. It's Japanese knife oil. And then I have these little micro brushes, which are just perfect for cleaning knives. I think these are essentially like makeup brushes or something. You get like hundreds of them for a few bucks. And then what I'll do, first thing I'll do is I'll test the spring and the snap, make sure the heat didn't affect the spring. Still got great walk and talk on that. A little gritty. It's not smooth, so I think there's a bit of dirt in there. I would have, during toasting, probably burned off any oil that was originally put in the pivot, so we'll be oiling that. So a little gritty, I think, due to both dirt and me burning off the oil. So first thing I'm going to do is I'll run some oil down onto the pivot. I'll take one of these brushes and remove any gunk that might be on there. Nearly every traditional knife has a little bit of gunk out of the box. The only knives that have come out super clean Like even case knives will have a little gunk in there. But the only knives that I've seen that came out super clean, traditional knives anyway, were like Rosecraft. They have, I mean, even the insides, like they'll polish the blade, but they'll even polish the inside of the well. And those come out super clean. And then usually any of the modern knife manufacturers, when they come out with a traditional styled slip joint knife, those are usually pretty clean. But like Rough Rider, case knives, I'm always doing a little bit of cleaning when I first get them. Because a lot of times there's a lot of gunk from machining in there. And it helps them run a little better. So drop some oil down in that well, or on that pivot. Now I'm going to drop some in the well. And what I'll do is I'll pour a little bit of oil until you see the oil run down along the inside of that well. Then I'll just take the brush and I'll scrub a little down where the pivot is. And I'm wiping it off on this cloth. And then I'll just swipe a lot of that excess oil down the well and off onto this cloth. And then that oil will wick into all the little crevices and stuff and help keep those areas lubricated. That back portion, the very bottom of this well, is the spring. So it'll keep the spring nice and lubricated and protect it. I'm just removing any excess oil because this oil is going to continue to wick through and kind of out the back end here. You're going to see a lot of oil start to seep through here between the liner and the spring. So I'm trying to remove as much excess oil as I can before I put this away. The brush is actually coming out pretty clean. So not a lot of gunk there. There's a bit of gunk in the pivot, but not a lot in the well. Now, the other thing I'll do is you'll see I'll partially close this. Now, I don't want to hit the stop. I want to, like, in between where it stops and, like, so at that angle. So you'll see what happens is when I open it in this way, the spring pops out a little bit. You can see it here. And then I can take that same brush, and if there's any gunk on the sides of the spring, I can quickly brush that stuff away. So I'll swipe that brush along the sides there. I saw a little bit of gunk, not a lot. And I'll usually open it up like this. So if it were to snap on anything, it's either going to go hit the half stop, or it's going to just fully open and won't hit my fingers. Still trying to be safe. So clean the sides of the spring best I can. Check the snap again. Still a little gritty. There's still probably some gunk in there that I didn't get, but it's noticeably better. Spring is nice and strong. And that'll probably smooth out as time goes on as well. But trying to remove as much as I can while I'm at it. And then that's how I clean a traditional knife. Now, the other thing is, like I said, oil will continue, like excess oil will continue to seep out the back here. So I'll usually let this sit on a cloth. I'll wipe it down a little bit, and then I'll let it sit on that for a little bit. So any excess oil that seeps out from the bottom of that spring will just hit the cloth. It'll be easy to remove. I'll just soak out or wick into the cloth. But there we go. That one is technically done. Chicken fried steak, how you doing? Happy 4th. Happy 4th and 250th anniversary. Hope you're having a good one, chicken fried. Just finished toasting this bright green Gator Jig axe handle. Quite a bit of oil still coming out of that. But nicely polished. Let me give it a little bit more on this side. So we got the sheen back on that bone. And you can see where the green started darkening again. And I have a feeling what's going on is a little bit of that oil is seeping into the bone. And it sort of darkens the dye. Like as if you wet something. America! So that color, it lightened up a bit, but the color deepens again once I've cleaned it and polished it. Looking really good. So now I've got 3 Gator Jig bones. So we got the mini trapper, just finished this Gator Jig. I had a Barlow. I wonder what I did with the Barlow. I put it somewhere. The Barlow was actually the first one I did. There it is. This was the first one I toasted with that bright green Gator Jig. And I just thought the Barlow came out so nice that I had to do the mini trapper and then the axe handle. I actually did the mini trapper because I didn't know when I was going to get another axe handle because, like I said, these things tend to be hard to get. So I had the itch to burn something, so I went ahead and did this one. Not that I didn't want. I'm glad I did it. I think it looks fantastic. But where's my other? I have a plain Jane unburned one. Here it is. To give you another idea of how it looked previously. So this is roughly how it looked originally. Down at the bottom. Let's move these out of the way. Like I said, the dye gets a little lighter. Then highlighted those ridges with the toast, with the torch. There we go. The reflections make it a little hard to see. So it kind of, like I said, it kind of reminds me of Case's lizard skin, just a different texture. There we go. Really good view on that one. Since we don't have the badge, gives you an idea of what it looked like before and then after. So it does lighten it up a bit. But I really like that toast. Kind of surprises me that Case doesn't do this themselves right away. Like I said, they did an exclusive with Shepherd Hills for their lizard skin, but I think the Gator Jig looks amazingly awesome with a toast. I'd love to try this in other colors. In fact, I got a catalog. Where's my catalog? Hold on a second. Let me fix this catalog a little bit. Where'd I put that tape? I had the tape just a moment ago. Here we are. I'm just going to fix this real fast. And I just recently got this catalog. And it's from Case. Oh, no, I'm sorry. This is from Shepherd Hills, not Case. This is a Shepherd Hills cutlery catalog. Uh-oh. Thought I lost power for a sec. I thought I saw lights flicker. Still going. Food coma impending. Okay, still streaming. Good. All right. So I did get the Shepherd Hills catalog, and you can see what let me move this over here. The comparisons there. Oh, on the cover we got a lady case. That's kind of neat. That looks to be, that's a Crossroads, a pink Crossroads lady case with engraving on the cover. This is their summer 2026 catalog from Shepherd Hills Cutlery. I've gotten a few things from them before. I really like their Crimson Bone. We've got some new Crossroads coming out, the Barlows. There goes my oil. The Barlows over here. I think Chasing Blade still has one of these fossil jig Barlows. I don't know if I've ever seen that color. That natural burlap looks really nice. But this is where, I believe this is where I saw the, where is it? The Gator Jig persimmon. Was it in this catalog or did I see it online? No, I can't remember. I was hoping I see. Ooh. Oh no. Oh no. This is not the persimmon. But they have a red bone gator jig in various patterns that now I kind of want one to burn. They've got an axe handle, a Barlow, we got a trapper, mini trapper, muskrat, baby butterbean, and a sow belly. I really like these sow bellies. The knives that I really like collecting are trappers and mini trappers, basically any size trapper, axe handles, and sow bellies, and to a lesser extent, muskrats. But I've been really liking the sow bellies lately. Axe handles have been my favorite. Trappers I've been collecting various sizes for a while now, but I did not know they're coming out with a red bone and gator jig. I am excited for that because I'm going to want to toast those. I'm going to be so poor. We got some blue synthetics, green synthetics, some stags. That's pretty nice. Ooh, fish and game in natural bone. Oh, these are new also. I think they had fish and games before, but these, I'm guessing, are making a comeback. The fish and game versions. I could have sworn I saw persimmon, but I guess not. Tequila Sunrise Bone. Just really like that color. Let me see here. I really thought that they would have I guess sworn it was here. I saw it, but I guess not. Here's a bunch of their axe handles. I have a pocket worn red bone. I don't have the old red bone in the jigging or the gator jig yet. I have an amber bone. Obviously, I've got two bright green bones. I don't have the Caribbean. Oh wait, no, I have is it dark? No, it's the dark red bone that I have. Case axe handle. This one here. Just got in the bone stag. I don't have the anniversary mahogany, but I have the regular mahogany. I have a Tequila Sunrise. Showed you guys the navy blue bone. The other one that I really want to get is that jigged buffalo horn, which is this one right here. Those are pricey though. One of the pricier ones. This is what the lizard skins look like. These are the ones that are exclusive to Shepherd Hills, meaning you can generally only get them from Shepherd Hills. But this is why I wanted to burn the the bright green axe handles to begin with, because it had a similar color. Again, just different jigging pattern. But you can see similar color how they did that lizard skin, which is, I really like the look of the lizard skin. So that's another reason why I wanted to try that. We got Kentucky bluegrass, a lot of Kentucky bluegrass. I love the crimson bones. These are gorgeous. The deep black and red. I have maybe 2 crimson bones. I believe I have a mini trapper. Oh no, I have a trapper. And thought I had another one. Maybe I just have the trapper. Just down at the bottom. And deep canyons, which are expensive because of the Damascus steel on them. We've got some 6.5 bone stacks. I really want to get a 6.5 bone stack sodbuster. Smooth natural bone with the cross shields. Gray bones, yellow synthetics. Okay, maybe it was online that I saw it then. Kind of a bummer. Yeah, I guess I saw it online. That persimmon gator jig. Thought it might be in here, but oh well. Anyway, that came out really beautiful. Glad I did that one. It seems to be even getting darker as time gets on. I'm talking about the green dye. I think it's because the oil's soaking into the bone and just kind of wetting the dye that's in the bone. But it almost seems like it's getting darker. But really liking how that turned out. Let me know what you guys think. But I think, like I said, this one was going to be a shorter live stream. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Hope you guys enjoyed watching. Not sure what's going to happen quite yet for next week because, like I said, things are running a little short. And I don't really have anything coming in. I'm trying to take care of a bunch of stuff that's just hitting my my paycheck and making sure things are covered because I do like to eat, do like to keep a roof over my head. So I'm not sure exactly how next week's going to go yet. Hold on a second. Oh, perfect timing. Guess what's happening? Fire alarm's going on again. So thank you guys for joining me. Hope you guys had fun watching. If you liked what you saw, please drop a like down below. And if you haven't yet, hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. And don't forget to check out my Discord, my Discord. I have a Patreon. Links are in the description below. And if you like video games, go check out the EDC Squirrel channel. I do have a fire alarm going off for the 3rd time this week, so I got to get my butt out of here. Makes it a perfect time to end this. But thanks again, everybody. Have a great 4th of July. And hope to see you guys in the next video. I'm not going to have time to go find somebody to rate, so we're just going to end this for now. But guys, stay safe. Have a great... Yeah, I know you don't have commands here. I got to fix stuff. Have a great 4th of July weekend. Stay safe. And bye! Yeah, I still don't have a closing for this. I'm just going to end this here. Stay safe.